In this video, I will show you the one thing I've used to double our bookings, increase our close rate, and decrease the time required to close calls in as little as 21 minutes. And it's called the Scaling Tracker. If you want to get your own copy, you can click the link in the description below. Now, before I walk through specifically what the Scaling Tracker is and how I've used it to double our bookings and close multiple 5-figure clients in half the time, then let me first walk you through who I am and why I even decided to build it in the first place. My name is Ben McDowell and I'm the founder of Ben McDowell Coaching, where we build end-to-end customized marketing systems for coaches and consultants. In the past 3 years, we've collected over $2 million in high-ticket clients for our own brand, booked over 1,600 sales calls, and have helped build and hand over 150 marketing and sales systems, which increased our clients' cash flow by over 40 to 70K per month. So as of this moment, I have access to hundreds of different sales calls, marketing systems, call flows, which means thousands of data points for us to analyze what works and what does not. What got me to create the Scaling Tracker that I'm about to show you here is that when I decided to stop charging hourly rates and really committed to not charging anything less than $2,000 per client, I started paying more attention to things like targeting an audience that could afford 2K or more instead of just accepting anyone that could pay anything and just wanted help. So I began building my service specifically around certain core needs and posting content to add value to those needs. But it took longer than it should, if I'm honest, because when I started bringing on VAs and setters to scale, I started signing up to more software. I noticed that there was a lot of resources wasted. I was making a bit of money and I would kind of throw money just here and there without any clear way of tracking what was actually generating a result from those investments. There was a lot of waste. I would do a launch to my database, or I'd just launch some ads and just get like 5 to 10 calls booked in a week. I'd make a bunch of cash, but then there would be nothing coming in for weeks, sometimes even months at a time. So really, I would be closing anywhere from 1 to 6 clients a month, which caused my cash flow to be incredibly varied, which made my stress levels vary greatly as well. And that impacted how I made decisions. I started becoming very influenced by fixing the negative emotions and what I thought was causing those emotions in each moment, instead of building systems that could run without me, that could take off the emotional burden. So just as our main offer, Scaling Accelerator, implies, we are completely fixated on building robust systems, and we are fixated on looking through long periods of data from the past to try to find the best possible decisions to make now to improve the future and use resources in a more effective way. So I knew there was a better way than just throwing more money at a team or software to hopefully help me make more money and decrease my stress levels. So I focused on getting a system to get more reliable quality bookings without me sourcing them, a more reliable process so I could take home more cash from the company without scaling up my hours further. I didn't even have any hours left to give. I was already giving everything. And I get it, tracking, the topic of this video, isn't exactly the most exciting part of running a business, but as the saying goes, success is getting a result once and excellence is replicating the result consistently through time. That's the main reason I created the Scaling Tracker, to give you one single place to see your entire business data, a clear data-driven roadmap to passing the 10, 20, 30, even 70K per month milestones. The second reason I created this Scaling Tracker was so I could delegate data tracking of my entire business to a marketing team who could then provide me with that perfect data picture without me having to do all this manual entry of how the marketing and sales side of my business was performing. That way I could get better quality bookings, spend my time on better quality sales calls, and just with better quality clients. And you may have heard before, the first thing that happens when you try and hire people for marketing and sales, like setters and closers, is blame. So the setters blame the closers for not closing enough calls, the closers blame the setters for not booking enough quality calls, or the founder blames both of them because they're not performing. And it's usually based on how a person feels rather than going by specific data. And the fact is, if a business has no tracking or data system in place and tries to hire, tries to scale, then the only thing likely to scale are the negative emotions, the stress experienced by the founder. To avoid this, I wanted to create a tracking system that tracks the specific result of each marketing and sales input at each stage of my funnel on one simple page. So I could see the calls booking in from content going up, or we could see the volume of calls booked from content going down, and then we could track it back to the cause. That way we can fix the problem quickly instead of making changes at other places of the funnel, which can bring you back to square one. So now that you are clear on all of that, let's give you a deep dive on how the scaling tracker works. The first thing is, where is the scaling tracker used at a high level, and how do you put it to work inside your business on the day-to-day? So if you've watched any of my other videos, you've heard me say there is only one thing worth working on in your marketing and sales to increase your cash flow. And that is going to be getting the right person into your funnel and paying in full for your program often enough to be profitable. There are only 3 core systems you should optimize for when you are running any marketing or sales process to achieve this. Now, these are getting enough of the right leads, the right people into your funnel, which is your lead system. The main principle behind this is that the earlier stage in your funnel, you can disqualify the wrong fit for your service, making sure the wrong people can't come into your sales process. The more time you will spend with the right people, the less complex the later stages will need to be to convert, because we need less hoops to jump through to filter out based on that lack of clarity at the beginning, which means the faster a new lead can move to becoming a painful client. And some people say, well, I just want to keep my targeting broad because I don't want to miss out on customers. And after working with these people numerous times and getting them results, they no longer think like this, because it actually came from a scarcity thinking, a deeper fear. If I niche down or get more specific, I'll miss out on customers and I won't have enough clients. And this solves this while setting you up with the systems to scale with, which is why getting the right people into your funnel is the single most worthwhile problem to solve for. So having your audience really specific and then a really clear, consistent marketing message, which is like tuning to a specific radio station. It's like the signal you send out to a specific group of people. What are you saying in your organic content? Are you consistent with that? What are you saying in your ad copy? Doing this at the top of the funnel, at the stage where you're pulling new eyeballs towards your brand and into your funnel, makes it so much easier to convert later on, because if they are not the right fit, they will just scroll right on by your ad or your content versus trying to just get more views or opt-ins or bookings from your efforts. And then they show up to the call, you spend 45 to 90 minutes only to find out they don't even have the money and they don't even have the problem you solve. If you've taken more than a couple dozen calls, you'll know what I'm talking about. Now, if you're doing the qualification later in the funnel, for instance, you're only finding out if they have the problem you solve or they have the money to solve it on the call, it's going to take a lot more energy, more time, and it's going to be more of a complex operation to scale. It's kind of like if you're traveling overseas, instead of having, an itinerary with all the stops and your flight times, specific destinations, you just kind of make it up as you go along, or you have a map and you put an X on it. You need to spend more money figuring it out as you go and coming up with last minute tickets to keep progressing. And in the business context, you need to have stronger sales skills. You need to pay more money for better setters and have a larger team, because what you don't have in systems, you have to make up for in skills, which take longer to build. You're having to filter through all of this low quality interest. So the next stage is appointments, converting those leads into quality bookings. And a common missing stage here is having marketing assets in place. This could be in the form of YouTube videos, case studies of successful clients, lead magnets given out in your organic content before people book, which will make sure people are pre-sold and nurtured before they come to a call with you, as opposed to having to do all of that work on the call. But today we're talking about a scaling tracker, a tracker you can use to keep the data in each of these stages correct and reliable, so you can see the effect of your efforts. So you can make decisions that cause upward to the right growth instead of changing the wrong things causing you to regress. It's worth mentioning here that if someone had not begun their business, they haven't taken any action, this video will most likely be irrelevant to them. This marketing asset is not going to help them. If somebody is already generating content, has booked calls, has collected some money, and are making decisions they've been pushing for 3, 6, 12 months or more, and they're feeling like they're spinning their wheels, running in circles, they feel like there's just a lot of time wastage, then this is going to appeal more specifically to them, and I hope that they can get more value from it. So I'm shooting this marketing asset itself, and the asset is creating an enormous amount of value for each person that watches it, and hundreds and if not thousands of people will watch it over the asset's lifespan while it's uploaded. Each of those viewers are in the exact niche we are going after, because we did the work in the niche and the marketing message stages very early on. So when a call is booked, the person has already consumed these assets and they're well nurtured. Now, what is consuming most of your time and energy and even money right now is that most leave this lack of upfront clarity to filtering and nurturing to either the appointment setting process or in the one-on-one sales call. It hasn't been completed prior in an automated, scalable, more leveraged way to create a quality booking. Even someone that is the perfect fit for your service will still need nurturing to become what we would consider a quality booking. Then the next stage is going to be the scaling tracker. So yes, it's going to be used to track all of the data points through the whole funnel, but I put it purposefully specifically in between appointments and painful sales, because most people don't have something like this in place. They know they should. They may be doing some of the other steps. Maybe they have their niche, somewhat of a marketing message. They're trying to book calls, but because they don't have the right data markers being tracked, the way they delegate their time and the way they make decisions and how to direct cash flow is, as I've said, from what causes the most negative emotions. And because emotions are of the moment, they come and go in the moment, the business quickly turns chaotic and progress stalls, as opposed to data which runs through time and it shows patterns and creates a clearer picture, so we can look at this picture to make the right decisions, which will ultimately take us more directly to what stages have the specific issue preventing growth right now. And a lot of the time I see cash flows start coming in more reliably, but then a change is made in the offer or the ads based on emotion, which then takes everything back to square one. It doesn't have to be this way. So this is the scaling tracker, and it tracks the conversions of each step of your marketing and sales process to see which stages are converting well, which don't need attention. So you can focus on areas that will quickly cause you to scale upward and to the right, meaning you have the right people coming into your funnel and the right assets warming them up, the highest quality bookings showing up and the right clients paying in full on the call. As you can see, this tracker is very simple. It is on purpose like this, so you can see your entire business on just one tab. How we use it and integrate it with other systems when we build it into some of our clients' businesses has additional steps, but I'll just walk you through the high level of things here. The way I laid this out is we have our funnel from top to bottom. In purple, we have the types of content we're posting. In blue, we have lead volume. In gray, we have appointment setting. Yellow, we have sales calls, and gold is our finance side. So with this, we can see the exact result we are generating based on where we are spending our time and resources. So when we look at how much content we are putting out, we can look at the volume of new followers or new conversations coming in from there. And if the lead stages are lower, then we know exactly it's coming from our content. So then I would make sure I'm posting the volume I need to, or I'd work on the type of content to match our marketing message, generate more followers and new conversations. The idea behind this is that imagine you wake up and you see the content you post is now getting 100, 200, 300 comments asking for your help, which isn't rare in our business now. And these comments are asking for help. They're your ideal people and they're messaging your account requesting a call. Then you know you're going to make a lot of money and in the coming days and weeks. So then how do you make sure this high volume of leads are not just booking, but they are quality calls that are booking? For us, we use our gray columns. Interested leads. For us, if someone is difficult to have a conversation with and doesn't have the problem we solve before booking in, we will drop the conversation immediately. For sure, we could try and push people through, our sales process, but what we found is that if someone is difficult to set as a booking, they'll be difficult to sign up on a sales call. They'll be difficult to serve as clients. And because 20% of the clients you serve create the top 80% of the results you get, we want to focus on the easiest 20% of people so we can optimize everything in our funnel for this 20%. So we track the booking links requested. So we don't just jump into offering a call, which is what most people do. I won't dive deep into appointment setting in this, but I'll cover it in another video. But we really do want to make sure before someone can book in and take a 1 hour slot on our calendar that we know they have the problem we solve, and they have to request a call, which acts as a filter. Now, ironically, simply by keeping those 80% of people off your calendar who would be low quality bookings, you'll have more time to spend with interested leads, more energy to dedicate to your calls. And because of this, the volume of your bookings actually increases exponentially. Your show up rates double because people are more committed, and your closing rates increase as well because they requested the call, as opposed to you having to continuously follow up. Hey, do you want the call? Hey, have you booked the call? Would you like to rebook? Then meetings booked, pretty self-explanatory. Follow-ups. With follow-ups, we focus on conversations that have a high probability of not just booking a call, but having a high chance of closing on that call. So a lot of what we do revolves around ads and organic content infused holistically and building robust marketing systems to support those. So we need people to have a budget to run ads. And if you're only making a couple $1,000s in a month and then nothing for months at a time, it's probably not going to work out. So we want to prioritize giving time on our calendar to people that will succeed with our service. Next thing we track is the appointments attended. How many of those converted into a sale? If this data is low, it just shows us that the bookings are not seeing the value. They're not showing up, which means the wrong people are being booked, or our marketing assets, our messaging, our ads, our content is not speaking specifically enough to their pains and desires. So we work there and then show ups increase. If sales converted is low, it means the wrong people are attending the calls, and because our call flow is not designed to sell ice to Eskimos, which in my opinion is just silly. Why sell someone something they don't need? It's much easier to do it the way we do it, which is our sales call flow is designed to sell ice to someone that is dying of thirst in a desert, because they are much easier to convert and they're more driven. Revenue, cash collected, cash to be collected means what amount of contracted revenue. So say you have a 5K service and someone signs and pays 1K on the call, then that is 5K in revenue, 1K collected, and of course 4K cash to be collected. Now this tells us two things: the buying power of the call. So how easy was it for that person to pay in full, and then what was the urgency they feel to go all in and solve their problems? So if our marketing message is hitting the right pain points, and this stage is really the sum of all our efforts thus far. When the data looks good in the yellow and gold sections, it means we have a robust marketing and sales process which is now ready to scale by starting ads or scaling the current ad spend. A big cause of being stuck below 10 or 20K months is having a sales process which gets sales, but then trying to do what we call min-maxing, which is, say I'm closing 30% of calls, trying to like close 50% instead of pulling an easier lever, which is just scaling ads. This will get more sales and cash flow faster than trying to increase that closing ratio, that final 20%. Now, the rest of the rows here are monthly goals. So how many units on each column to hit each month? If this falls short, it represents a bottleneck of that stage, which guides your focus. So how many units to aim for per day? Because knowing what numbers you need to hit today, you ensure the monthly goal is achieved and you can hit the markers consistently instead of winding up at the end of the month, falling short and just looking at cash flow being the issue. You can be preventative. So completed is the percent you are towards your monthly goal in relation to how many units you've entered, and total is the total running units that you've entered. So the units each day then tally in this formulative rows above automatically, and then the magic behind this is that once you have a few months under your belt, you can start seeing the patterns of your business and how things are improving. You can get a copy of this below, but I'm going to show you how this all tallies up the way we do this. So let's say January the 1st, 3 stories are posted, January the 2nd, 2 stories are posted, 1 reel on each day, 1 post each day, 1 YouTube video. This generates 10 leads per day, and then you have 50 new DMs were sent. Based on that, you can see the tally up top. Then we get, for instance, 3 new followers and then 2 extra on the 2nd of Jan. From that plus the 20 leads and the new DMs, we only get 5 new conversations. Well, that means I know that we have a leads issue or a content issue, so I go back there. But if we get, for instance, 20 new conversations, we are tracking along perfectly based on the inputs that came in beforehand. And the best part about this is that with the tech around right now, you can pretty much automate everything to this stage for less than a dinner out. So just imagine like how much time you spend here right now in the content, in the creating conversations, the lead generation side, how much time you spend thinking about this stuff, worrying about this stuff, totally automatable for less than a 2-hour dinner date. Then interested leads. From new conversations, let's say there's 6 and 6. So we have 12 interested leads. And from there, let's say we get 0 booking links. Okay, well then we know that it's the appointment setting, which is the issue. And we might need to identify the pains more clearly or make sure we're responding to leads faster to keep the conversation warm and progressing. But let's say we get 4 booking links, which converts into 2 booked calls, maybe 50 follow-ups each day went out. And then that would then impact the new conversation volume for the next couple of days, which will increase the interested leads. So let's say of these 2 bookings, we have a good show up rate. So both of those show up. Now it's rarely going to be enough to get a sale consistently from 2 bookings. And what I've learned is that after tracking 1,600 sales calls, and this is one of the benefits of working with us, is you get to skip all of this guesswork yourself. Say we even had just 5 days with this same data coming in at the beginning, converting the same way all throughout, and we had now 10 booked calls, 10 appointments attended, we would know that, okay, I just need to do the exact same thing, same inputs for 5 days as I did for these 2 days, and I'd have 5 booked calls a week. Now, if I had that and none closed, I'd know to work on my sales call flow, or the targeting may be off. I'd have that information from my call notes, so I could then take it right back to the ads or the organic content, and then I'd fix the problem there. And that's the thing, if you have 5 calls and none close when it's a booking quality issue, then you really aren't doing them or you any favors by continuing to take the calls without fixing the qualification issue in your funnel. It really does not help anybody to keep taking unqualified calls and reserving that 60 minutes on the calendar. Now, if we have 1 sale for every 5 days, say we're targeting a niche that can afford us, and we charge 5K, that's 5K revenue. And if they are well qualified and they can pay that, then it's a pay in full sale, 5K cash collected, $0 cash to be collected. If you want access to this sheet, be sure to click the link below this video. And if you're a coach or consultant already making 5K or more per month, and you want us to build a customized marketing and sales system for you so you can scale and get your time back with data, automation, and predictability, I'd also recommend clicking the link in the description below to book a call with me or my team. And if you have any questions, you can be sure to drop them in the comments. See you in the next one.